Well, hey guys, welcome back to Vigoroso, DC, and right behind me is the United States Botanic Garden. And this actually is the oldest continuously operating botanic garden in the United States. On its website, they list it as a living plant museum, and that's exactly what it is. When we go inside, you will see how it is set up like a museum where it has different rooms with different themes, and I will show you all around it. It has a pretty interesting history. So it started back in 1820, and its roots go back to the Lewis and Clark expedition. And you see what I did there, roots. Yeah, I went there. But anyway, its roots go back to the Lewis and Clark expedition. So they went out west and collected all these different plant and animal samples and geological, everything. But as far as the flora went, they needed somewhere to put it. So at first they had these kind of random places all around the city. And then finally, it took about 15 years, but they consolidated it and opened a botanical gardens over, not around here, but over where Chinatown is now. And the portrait gallery, it's also where the Washington Capitals play, right over there. But that eventually moved right across the street, and I will show you where. That is the Grant Memorial back there. So the Botanical Gardens was in that area from the 1870s up until the 1930s. Then it was already decided that they wanted the Grant Memorial there, so there was a little bit of an overlap. Then the Botanic Gardens moved right over here across the street. And at that time, the management shifted over to the Capitol itself. So the Capitol building actually manages the Botanic Gardens. It's considered part of Capitol grounds. And it's not only this building here. This building is called the Conservatory. There is an actual outdoor garden right over there, and behind it there's a park. It's called Bartholdi Park, and it features a water fountain that was designed by a guy who designed a very little known other statue called the Statue of Liberty. So it's not surprising that the park is named after him. But today we are going to visit the conservatory. It is late November, which means that the outdoor grounds are closed. And across the street, Bartholdi Park, it is open, but it's not at its best. I'm gonna save that video for the spring because it looks a lot better then. Also, the water is off for the fountain right now when it's on in the spring, so I'm gonna save that for that time. But anyway, let's go ahead and go inside and check it out. There's actually some special exhibits in there for the holiday season that they do every year, so we're gonna take a look at that as well. So, let's get started. So now we are through the front door, and this is the garden court area. And as you might be able to tell just by looking at the trees, it's a lot warmer in here. And I'm not gonna do it, but if I just kept the camera on this door here or that door where the people are coming through, as they do, you can see them just taking off their coats because it does get a lot warmer. And what's even warmer than right here is over there. That is the centerpiece of this living plant museum. It is the Tropics room. It's basically a huge jungle. It takes up the whole middle of the Botanic Garden. And it feels like you're going right into the Amazon, and it is really hot in there. As much as I love taking my groups here in the spring, really when you get to May and June, it starts getting pretty hot outside. And there's a lot of advantages to coming here. One of the big advantages to coming here is that it's a bit of a break from the standard DC stuff with memorials and American history and museums, that kind of thing. Then you get to hang out in the Botanic Garden. So that is like a big pro of coming here. But a con is that if it's really hot outside and you come in here and it's even hotter, so that there's a trade-off there. But anyway, I've already taken off my layers of coats. I've got a basically short sleeve shirt on, and we are gonna go into the tropics, go right into the heart of the jungle, right here in Washington, DC. And here we are, and the heat just kind of hits you. And if you're coming directly from outside on a really cold day, like a freezing day, at first you're like, wow, this is great. But then like, I don't know, a couple minutes later, you're like, man, it's like really hot in here. But that's how it is. And it has to be this way because if you want jungle plants to thrive, it needs to be a jungle environment, which includes it being hot and humid. There we go. You've got this big glass atrium up there, which is really cool. It looks amazing from the outside as well. And there's signage all over the Botanic Gardens. Also keeping in line with it being a museum, a living museum. There's going to be signage at any good museum. It would be cool if they had monkeys swinging around. Like, that would really make it feel like you're in the jungle. But I guess that's tough to really make work, just the logistics of it all. Safety and a million other things. But that would be really awesome. Maybe a lion or a tiger. Maybe some snakes, boa constrictors. That would really make it feel authentic. Tropical forests, essential for life. More than half of all plant and animal species live in tropical forests, clustered near the equator where the air is warm and the sun intense. Not all tropical forests are rainforests. Rain falls year-round in rainforests, while in tropical dry forests, seasons of rain come and go. This room features plants from rainforests and tropical dry forests. Forests significantly impact our climate by releasing oxygen, cycling water, and sequestering carbon. Forest destruction contributes to climate change. Here is a model of the corpse flower, and it says, this life-size model shows a large size of the corpse flower. I'm not going to read that. They actually have one, a real one of these every spring. This is the largest flower that exists on planet Earth, and they smell horrible. And I told you in the intro how they have some special exhibits for the holiday season. And this is what they have going on here. They have these large models of notable buildings and memorials and stuff like that from around the city. So we will be looking at these as we move through the Botanic Gardens. So here's our first one. It's here in the Tropics room, and it's of Smithsonian Castle. This was actually the very first Smithsonian museum. These days it's used as a visitor center. However, when I say these days, I'm not talking about right now specifically because the whole building is closed. They're doing a big renovation on it. And you see here, it says all these different things. It says leaves, pine cone scales, grapevines, twigs, acorns, bamboo. So that is what this is made of, and they are all made out of botanic materials. Everything except for the electric lights back there. That's not botanic, but everything else is.